Hello guys, welcome back to another Satisfactory Purple Slug tutorial, and where you can find them in your world. Today we'll be focusing on the central region of the map, which is one of the notably harder areas of the whole world, along with the eastern area. If you haven't checked out my other videos on the Purple Power Slug locations, feel free to check them out if you want to begin there. I'd advise starting with the northern or the southern, as they are generally quite easy compared to the east and the central. So as you can see here, I've just collected the first slug, and in each example I'll be showing you where it is located on the map, and then I'll be showing you how I can actually get the slug. So in most cases you can also see what enemies you're going to be coming up against. It'll typically be the big spiders, but there's also a few of the rhino things. I don't know the actual name of them, but they exist. But they're quite infrequent when you come up for these purple slugs. So this is quite an interesting area because it looks like they're large salt cubes. I think they're supposed to be marble, and there are a few areas that have these nice marble features. But there we can go. I just got the first purple slug. I do kill some of the mobs off camera just because I ran out of ammo for the rifle, so I'm here using the rebar gun, which is quite slow, shall we say, compared to the other gun. So for this one here, you'll need some Noblisk, and you'll need a lot of Noblisk for most of these central slugs. This is just as a final challenge or difficulty, if you want to call it. It's like a final layer of stuff for you to do. So as you can see, they start piling radiation with enemies, and then also having Noblisk as well. Some places also have poison, so you'll find a lot of areas are just stacked things to be aware of, things that can kill you. So here I have help from my brother, and this should just make killing the mobs a bit easier, but I've got all the actual gear such as the Noblisk to take down a lot of these power slugs. So as you can see, I'm going into the radiation areas quite easily, and I am taking damage, but not a whole lot. So as I advised in the previous video, you don't actually need a good radiation suit to get through all this. All you need is a lot of pale berries and a lot of burial nuts, and you can just power through with heals. That's what I typically do. Now for this particular slug here, along with another one, I think this is unfinished because I genuinely could not find another cave anywhere, and I found an entrance which looked quite defined, and in here, as you can see, there are a few rocks which looks like you're supposed to jump on, but even then, if I did go onto those rocks, it would put me back into the cave if I glitched through a texture, but it didn't, which you'll see shortly. So here, it's still in development, and I imagine when the game's fully released, this should be more updated, and this won't be applicable, this method. However, I still think that'll be the cave entrance. So as you can see, there's just a floating boulder with a purple slug in it, and I can see under all the maps, as you can see there, those mobs drop, because there's another purple slug in the same section, but I don't actually know where the entrance to that one is, but I think it's behind another one of the boulders that you can explode, where you should be able to find a yellow slug. So here, as you can see, I have to resort to placing down some foundations, because that's just the void, so if I fell down there I'd lose my stuff forever. Which is an interesting thought, because what I did plan on doing in the future, you could just fill your inventory full of radioactive waste, to get rid of it. All you have to do is jump off the world, which is quite interesting because it might get rid of it permanently, because at the moment there's no way to get rid of it. So here, as you can see, I just went into even more radiation without taking much damage. And you can just heal all this. So I wouldn't advise getting the suit, especially because the amount of times you're encountering it, there's no need. Unless the radioactive substance, so like the uranium, unless that requires the suit, because it's a lot, it does a lot more damage because it's a node. But just the chunks are okay. So the next few slugs are quite easy. There are always a lot of enemies and a lot of these spore flowers, but overall they're just quite similar in the central area from what I've gathered. They're mainly just poison, spiders, and then usually the spitters, and then you might need an obelisk. Oh, and there's a lot of radiation. So pretty much everything bad you can think of is here in the central area. But once you have the stuff to do it, it's not too challenging to overcome it. So here we have the next power slug, and as you can see, there's two spiders just glitching out in the water. But the good thing about this is they don't seem to be able to swim or walk as fast in the water, which allowed me to get a few shots off of the rebar gun, which is helpful. Then I had a mini jump scare here because one of them got out of the water and ran towards me, and did actually attack me and get hit off. But then I kill them, and then we move on to take the slug. So moving on from that previous area, just there, if we come over here, you'll find another purple slug. This one's only protected by radiation, if you want to say it's protected by radiation, but it doesn't require much to get through. And simply, you should be able to go in there and just tank it with a few berries, or you can just actually wear the suit and get the proper filters and everything. But as I said, I don't really see a point in that so far. So this slug here is actually protected by quite a lot of the spitters, I think they're called. They probably have a proper name, but the ones that shoot bolts at you, there are about 6 of them protecting this. As you can see, another one there missed. So I have to quickly get rid of that one. And there's another one down here. So there are quite a lot protecting this slug. And as you can tell, more obelisk is required. So you better get that sulfur and the coal farm going, otherwise you cannot be going to be able to get a lot of these. So then, if you keep going this way, there's a lot more slugs to get. I would recommend having all the equipment so you can go and just do all these in one go. But of course, if you want to make multiple trips, that's up to you. The bamboo is also quite annoying just in itself, because sometimes it doesn't all load in or the texture doesn't all show, so you end up getting stuck in between branches or bamboo shoots, which is quite annoying, especially later when I got stuck in a bamboo thing. It might be edited out. But I got stuck in a bamboo for about 20 seconds as a spider was just trying to chase me down, which is not very helpful. And if you don't have the gear, that'll be even more stressful because you can't just run away. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It's much appreciated, and it helps the video, it helps the channel. So the next slug we're going to just build a bit of concrete. Concrete's quite the saviour, as you'll see later when I reunite with my brother. He builds a load of concrete for me and it's quite helpful just because it acts as a natural platform, obviously. Well, not really natural, but it's a platform. And it's quite handy, so if you fall down here I can just land on this, so there's no worrying about falling down. And it's really annoying the central area, because if you die, the effort that's required to get back here is quite annoying, and I can tell you that from first person because I have died once or twice, which means in between all these purple power slugs that you see me get with ease, actually a lot of these, well not a lot of these, but some of them I will have died in between, and then there's like a 20-minute trek to try and get back here. So another strat you could do is take your hub with you, and then just whenever you think you're in danger, just plant the hub, so it means you respawn only like a minute walk max away from your stuff, rather than miles away. Because we opted to start in the northern area, which we found was quite easy. Apart from the biomass, there's loads of nodes, so it's a good place to start in my opinion. I still think the easiest place to start is the south, because there's so much biomass. You can literally have thousands of burners as a reliable source, whereas up in the north obviously there's like desert, so there's no way of getting all that biomass apart from dead twigs. So there are supposed to be spiders on these tall peaks. However, they keep falling down through the world, which is good in my case, obviously. However, I think when the game's fully released, they should stay there rather than falling off. So they should be more challenging, but on this world anyway, because we're planning on starting a new one, it doesn't matter anyway. So here, what you want to do once you've gone for that tall mountain is drop down, which looks quite ominous because of all the fog. But you want to drop right the way down, and there's two. I think there's two quartz nodes, which are quite good because I think they're both pure. I want to say, or they're both normal. The first time I actually played this game, we used these quartz nodes, but I didn't notice any of these purple power slugs. So that makes me believe they were either added afterwards, or they were added right at the start, and I just never saw them. So this power slug here is quite easy. As long as you got concrete, you can technically get this one without any effort really required, apart from building up, because nothing's protecting it except the height factor, which is the only difficulty to try and get this one. Of course, if you had the jetpack, this is a really easy 5 shards to get. So from here, there's 2 choices you can do. You can either go up, which I do after this, or you can go through this cave, which requires an obelisk. Now through here you'll actually find 3 or 4, maybe even 5 green power slugs as well. I don't get them, because at some point I will do a green slug walkthrough. However, the only problem with that is there's about 4 times as many green slugs. So the videos would have to be a different format compared to this, where there's a bit of gameplay in between each slug. The green slugs will just be, here's the location. Unless it's in a cave, here it is. There won't be any other gameplay behind it. But as you can see as I go through this cave, there's a bit of bacon agaric as well, so you can use these power slug hunts as a good source of all that stuff you need for the inhalers. But as you can see, there's quite a few green slugs here and a load of spiders. So if you're not a fan of spiders, don't get this one anytime soon. But luckily for me, since it's still in the pre-release or the early access, the spiders are still really buggy, so half of them just didn't even go for me and they went back down, whereas if them all went for me, then it would have been quite a different experience. So this here is me just going up the mountain, or the cave roof, and I'm making my way over to the right side, where there's another purple power slug which you should be able to find quite easily. There are 2 spitters protecting it, like the big ones. That's the only downside really, especially when you've got a rebar gun. It's not great trying to deal with them, because if they hit, if you go up close with your sword, you're putting yourself at risk. If they shoot one bullet and then it starts splitting, you'll just die instantly, and that's really annoying unless you use the hub strap. So as you can see, there's the 2 spitters, and then what I do, I get rid of one of them, but then I don't know where the other one actually went. Again, with the AI programming, I don't know what that's like, so I don't know if it's supposed to go away, but yeah, I think it comes back at the end. It gives me a little bit of a jump scare. So right here, coming up now, it just appears out of nowhere on the screen, and luckily it misses that shot, because if that hit me, that could have done a lot of damage. So we're moving on. This is quite an easy slug in my opinion. There are a lot of the rhino sort of creatures protecting it. However, if you have the jetpack or anything else, or you're just going around the other way, you can get up to this ledge that I'm landing on now, and by doing so they can't hit you, and then your choice is to either shoot them to get them to run away, because that's part of their AI, or you can do what I did, where you shoot them, then put these foundations in the way, so then they can't get through, which is quite a good exploitation to get that power slug. Here's another. This is actually a really easy power slug. I thought there would be a lot of enemies protecting it, but I think it's just an exposed power slug. But I think because it's quite far into this purple forest, not even purple forest, the red forest, I think this purple slug's quite easy to get, as it's like a little reward for getting right to the middle. However, the next one isn't as nice. This one's surrounded by a load of poison and 2 spitters. what I did, I didn't kill any of the spitters and just made my way in with the gas mask, and took the risk and see if one of them hit me or not. So as you can see there, I evaluate where they're located, and this one does lock onto me, but a little bit too late, so it only just shoots, and it means I can run away just in time. And as I run away, I happen to find the next power slug. So what I've also gathered is some of these purple slugs are really close together. So moving on from there, if we take this path up here, there are another 2 slugs located this way. One of them's quite easy and one of them looks really hard, but luckily I managed to kind of exploit it. So basically you have this purple slug and there's 3 of those crab nests, or crab flies, whatever they're called. There's a load of those poison flowers around, and there's also a giant spider, which is the cause of all that poison. But as I just flew over, I could get away from the spider. I knew the spider would have to go through some water, which meant it would slow down, which meant I could get away. And actually, the crabs you can just shoot off, which I did there. This next one's quite interesting. It's located on this rock structure that jars out of the mountain, and it's got a load of uranium, I believe it is, on the structure to try and make it hard for you. But as you can see, the radiation levels are the maximum, or they just were, but I'm still not dying, and that's without the radiation suit, so you can just plow through that. There are also some spitters, as always, protecting that. And speaking of spitters, this next power slug took me ages to get. There are 2 spitters and I think a big spider from elsewhere locks onto me, which makes this one really challenging. Health also drops really low, so I was very cautious of that, because if these get a chain of hits on you, you're basically dead. So I think this is one of the most annoying enemies in the game. But after a few minutes and an unfortunate autosave right in the middle, I managed to get the slug and then I run. However, I believe I do get hit again, but luckily I don't die, otherwise I would have been quite annoyed there. As you can see, I'm just chomping a load of those berries just so I actually stay alive. So this is one of the easiest ones as well. As long as you have an obelisk, you can just get this one. There's nothing protecting it but rock. And then somehow I managed to miss that rock and throw it onto the ledge, so that's why I don't think I got rid of that in one shot. But I believe you can get that power slug with just one obelisk. So as you can see, that was quite easy to get. So this next one, it's quite easy as well, with nothing protecting it. However, it's really high up, talking like 300 meters compared to 100, so it's 200 meters of climb. So it took about 2 minutes, I want to say, of solely just building up foundations and using the jetpack to get this. So if you have the time and you don't mind doing this, I would recommend getting this one because it's not very hard to get in terms of defeating enemies. You're not going to likely die unless you jump off. The ways I would recommend getting up to the top are using concrete, concrete with a jetpack, like what I'm doing in this video. You can also use industrial storage containers and place them on top of each other because they'll automatically place, and just climb up the ladder. And there probably might be a way with lookout towers as well. So there's quite a few ways, or you can try and build a hyper tube up to the top. That could be another way actually that I've just thought of. So we're getting towards the last 3 power slugs. This one's quite easy. What I'd advise doing to gain this one is place a bit of concrete where you can see the slug, so you can just fly over or build over and get straight to the power slug. What I end up doing is tell my brother to build a concrete just there, and he builds it over the slug, but then he can just build it underneath, and then just delete the one on top. So that's quite lucky to have that, because then it means you can just quickly claim that slug. So that was one of the easiest slugs to gain. So this one I think should be quite hard, but we found it was quite easy. This is because there's radiation there. It's right at the edge of the cliff, so you could always fall off. But there are also 2 spitters protecting it. However, neither of them locked onto me, and I think one of them locked onto my brother, as you can see there, which was quite lucky. So it meant I could just get the slug and run. This one here, you can build concrete, as you can see my brother does, or you can try and risk it with a jetpack, or you can climb it legitimately from the bottom. But we just used the concrete because we're already high up. And this will be the last slug that I believe I need to get. Of course, there could be more slugs added to this game in the future, in which case I would either have to do small updates or I could just leave it. But as you can see, I'm looking down because we're really high up. You can see how far down that is. And also, one thing I did learn was there's a Sam ore node here, an impure. However, the point is, I don't really see many Sam ore nodes because they're quite rare anyway. In the map, and Sam ore, I believe, still doesn't have a use in the game, so it's quite interesting seeing that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you go and check out the other videos as well, if they're interesting to you, and if they're any help, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.